right. And we should be seeing our runners get started here anytime soon. So we've got week 2, which is our Dash Rando week. We did our multi-worlds in week 1, and now we've got some Dash Rando on the board. Of course, if you're not familiar with Dash, it's very similar to the total tournament logic. There are some changes, especially in the utility of some of the items. So, for example, Spazer now breaks open some of the speed blocks. For example, in the waterway, you can just shoot on through those. And Bombs also has the added utility of being able to unlock the wrecked ship reserve item. Then there's also some changes to how heat damage is approached between Varia and Gravity. So if you're in the Discord, we do have a link to the Dash website if you want to see some of those changes, as well as some of the other things that I probably did not remember to cover, as I am in desperate need of practice for Dash Seeds, seeing how I have a race on Thursday. But here we go. Looks like our racers are getting started here, so we should go see them run on to the left and go ahead and get your guesses in for what the first non-morph ball item is going to be down here in old Blue Brinstar. I guess old Brinstar is not Blue Brinstar, but that's okay. And of course, while we're heading down the elevator, if you're not already following these runners, make sure that you go ahead and give them a follow. We'll go ahead and get their links into the chat. And I also went ahead and dropped a link, not for shameless self-promotion, but really to make sure that if you're not following Cheaty Face already, Cheaty Face is definitely earning his World's Greatest Tracker coffee mug that doesn't exist, but probably should be sent to him, especially after what he's been doing for the last couple weeks for us. Cheaty is, realistically, if Cheaty wasn't tracking all the races that he was, I don't know how many of them actually would have been restreamed. So big thank you to Cheaty for everything that he's been doing for us. And it looks like the first item is just a vanilla morph ball. So we're going to go have our runners. Yep, looks like Drake is going to go ahead and grab the alpha missiles. And he's got power bombs. So Jargle skipping that item is not going to be able to check Billy Mays. But Drake has the option. Though I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Drake go up to Billy Mays. And it looks like bombs in the ceiling. So they do already have that extra utility for opening the wrecked ship reserve location, as well as some movement as far as doing some infinite bomb jumps or even some horizontal bomb jumps for people who like to go the other way. So definitely a lot of good utility in bombs. I mean, of course, bombs also make it to where you don't need to pay attention and manage your power bombs as much. I mean, you can just use them when you really need to and then use bombs the other times. So that's always also a nice feature. And it looks like Drake is going to check the item behind Morph Ball. Doesn't have supers quite yet. So I would anticipate we wouldn't see Meme Route. This does make that a little bit nicer. Oh, and how wrong I was. So Drake is going to go ahead and go Meme Route. I mean, why wouldn't he with his team name, Meme Team 6? And Jargle's checking the item underneath Old Mother Brain. I did not see what it was, but I don't remember. Based on that missile count, I'm going to guess it was missiles, and that, yeah, I guess that's the only thing it could be. Oh, it was power bombs. Thank you, Cheaty. Yeah, I was going to say something wasn't quite adding up there as far as what was selected. Drake does find for a super pack in the Green Hill Zone, so I would expect we'll see Drake go back into Pink Brinstar now. And Jargle is going to check the 230 missiles. Let's see what kind of miner we have over there. And that's a reserve tank at the charge beam. Regular vanilla missiles for Jargle at 230. Yes, Nephion, this is a dash randomizer. And so now Drake is going to use that last power bomb to open the orange door to the Wavegate room. Go check the miner over here, and it's more supers. Jargle is making his way up to up Parlor to check out Bomb Chorizo. Ooh, Drake taking a hit from one of the side hoppers, but gets all ammo drops from them and almost gets back to full refill, just one big health drop short, and nails that first try on the wave gate, the super missile for the wave gate, and unlocks a charge beam with it. So now Drake has the full charge beam, and we will expect that Jargle will also be doing the wave gate with the super missile to go and find that full powered charge beam for them as well. But another change of dash that I missed was didn't talk about was that the runners do have a decreased charge available to them from the very beginning. It does allow them to do full damage pseudo screws, but the charge shots are diminished in damage. So Drake, after picking that up though, Drake now has full charge damage with the charge shots. And it looks like Jargle is going to take a save. I wonder if we're going to see, with bombs and a few power bombs, looks like Jargle could be making a play for Gauntlet, taking the save for safety so you don't have to start all the way over at the beginning of the game. With the acid up there in Gauntlet, there's still quite a few things that can go wrong. Drag is coming over to the map. I think, is that a missile? No, that's a missile refill, but just to grab one power bomb. If you're out of power bombs and you're in green Brinstar, those what are those called? Yeah, those fire fleas. I don't know what the percentage is, but they have very good power bomb drop percentage. So if you're ever in a pinch and you need some power bombs and you're close to that room, that's something you want to keep in mind when you're playing Randomizer. Looks like we've got an energy tank at Etacoons, and Drake is going to continue to see what this first miner is. And I'd venture to guess, unless there's an unfortunate fall, not going to go see the Etacoons themselves today. But here Jargle goes through the Gauntlet area, standing just at the edge of the Yapping Maw's jaw, waiting for his time to go and hit those blocks with some bombs. And conserving some power bombs, I think that it's a really good idea to conserve at least 2 power bombs for the back of Gauntlet. I usually like to lay one as soon as I get into the item room, so it takes out the 2 bomb blocks that you need to get through the acid and roll through the floor. And then it's always nice to save one for that very last wall. Oh, and that's a pretty nice item for Jargle, especially us knowing that he's going to be coming across charge here with just in a few minutes. But Drake might not head up to Gauntlet the entire match, so that could really be a big difference maker as far as damage output, especially when it comes time to be facing Mother Brain. Looks like an extra power bomb pack and missile pack for Drake and an E-tank at the Brinstar Reserve location. And so here unless Jargle's going to do some wall jumps, which isn't a bad strategy either. It's just a little bit more risky with the spikes and the acid. You got to make sure you get out of there. And goes ahead and uses that power bomb anyways and makes it through. Gets the little health drop from the bug and is going to head through the back of Gauntlet. And vanilla super missiles there for Drake. I mean, after Drake finds out what's at Bomb Chorizo, Drake could decide to do Gauntlet before heading either over to Wreck Ship or down the Red Tower. I think a lot of the time when you, especially with this scenario where they have access to the Wreck Ship item with the bomb modification and dash, as long as Drake is willing to either CWJ or horizontal bomb jump over into the Wreck Ship, I think that's pretty much the play that you want to make anyways when you do meme route, and an E-tank and Terminator. So we know Drake is going to be finding an E-tank here shortly. So especially not being locked out of that extra item, I think that the meme route play is probably going to route pretty well for Drake. But we'll see. I mean, a charged plasma against Vantoon would definitely make for a faster fight. I think if you did like beginning Dopplers and just a charge shot to end, your round with Fantoon, I think that you would be looking at a 3-round, because I think you need full beam combo for a 2-round in that scenario, but I could be very wrong about that. So we're gonna see Jargle kind of cover a lot of the tracks that Drake has already shown us, as far as the pink Brinstar and green Brinstar checks. And Drake does have super missiles for Bombchorizo, so he's just going to be able to unload 2 shots right into the chest of Bombchorizo and take care of that fight. That was not a luxury that Jargle had when he was facing Bombchorizo, so Drake's fight significantly faster at that point. Looks like Jargle is going to go ahead and pick up that 3rd E-Tank just in case they need to do any heck runs. But now I'm pretty interested to see where Drake decides to go at this point. Personally, I'd make a quick pop into Gauntlet. But I also wouldn't have done Meme Route probably, but we'll see what Drake decides to do. And gonna grab a save first. I think that that's a bit of an indicator of going up to Gauntlet, because now he also has the ability to save scum if it was an item that Drake doesn't want, but I'm pretty sure Drake's gonna keep Plasma. Oh, Jargle almost made it into the Edecoon's pit, but was able to recover. Grabs that E-Tank and is going to go find themselves a missile pack behind Edecoon, the Edecoon green door. Drake getting grabbed by the Yapping Maw, but doesn't seem to affect the venture here into the Gauntlet. And there's that Plasma Beam for Drake. And it actually looks like Jargle is going to voluntarily go down to the Edecoons. So it looks like we will be seeing our friends the Edecoons today, as well as their item that is usually a vanilla power bomb. All right, so after grabbing Plasma, Drake is going to take a quick refill and a save again, especially to get back up on those power bombs. Having regular bombs doesn't necessarily need them as bad as they might, but it's always good to have as many power bombs as you can without having to hunt down a refill location. Some of the drop rates on power bombs, you don't want to get stuck trying to farm a 2% or worse power bomb drop if you can avoid it. So, and with only having 2 left, would have had to use and be down to 1 there. So definitely don't think that was a bad call. Drake accidentally using a beam, special beam attack there, having the charge in Plasma, and just happened to having power bomb selected. Definitely something I've done many times, and gets across the moat though without any issues. That was a really nice play to get across the moat. Very nicely done. And looks like Jargle's even going to go see what Spore Spawn Super has for us today, which will just be a minor. But if they're really looking to power up on supers to have a quick Ridley fight, I could definitely see that being a strategy for wanting to look in here. And it's just regular missiles, so Jargle's going to just turn around and dip on out of here and continue through Pink Brinstar. But no speed or spazer for our runners, so the waterway check is going to be orphaned. In this case, and both of our runners are probably going to just hold on to hope that that's not something they're going to have to come back to be able to finish the seed. Drake executing into wreck ship very nicely, making it through past all the pits in the ocean, getting through the moat. Yes, Crazy Cat, Dash Randomizer is a major minor split, very similar to tournament logic, as opposed to Varia logic. So there are some minor differences in the way that items are placed. And there also is an exception to the part where in normal tournament logic, gravity can't be in Brinstar, but now it can be, but not old Blue Brinstar. So they actually could potentially find their gravity at Waterway, which I think we saw in a race yesterday. Jargle did go ahead and grab that charge beam by using the getting through that wave gate glitch, and is now going to go and picks up the reserve tank that's at charge beam. And we've got Drake lined up for a Fantoon fight, our first boss fight of the race. And we will see what Jargle decides to do as far as going up or down the red tower. Has the same amount of energy tanks as Drake, and even has the extra reserve tank. So Jargle could opt to take a refill of the ship to get a little bit of extra health and safety for the Fantoon fight. And it looks like Drake is going to go ahead and use Doppler strats, and has a pretty good Doppler on the first round Fantoon, so it's going to set up for round 2. And it wasn't a fast. It looks like a mid there on round 2 for Drake, and has another nice Doppler, so I think as long as nothing goes wrong, I think Drake's looking at a 3-round Fantoon here. Oh, not quite, though it is easy. I know in one of my races over the weekend, I was going to have a 3-round Fantoon until I messed it up by shooting too many missiles too fast in the earlier stages of what you do when you're fighting Fantoon. But nonetheless, Drake has now finished off Fantoon, is going to be able to check all the items in the wreck ship, having bomb access to the wreck ship reserve. And it looks like Jargle Bargle decided to head down the red tower, and is going to show us an E-tank at the Spacer location. Is going to pick that up. That is going to help out with some heck runs if Jargle decides to continue down to Upper Norfair. I assume after taking out Kraid. So we'll see what Jargle decides to do. I don't know how many people will leave Kraid to go up to the wreck ship. It's definitely a play that I've done before. That's not to say that it was a good play, but it's definitely a play. But sometimes you play on intuition and what you think you should do as opposed to percentages, stuff like that. So Jargle is headed into the Kraid section, and we've got some high jump boots for Drake at the right side super. If you're wondering why that's a major item, in tournament and dash logic, or tournament major minor, I should say, the E-tank that's normally at the high jump boots location, in the can room, that's been moved to the right side super to balance out the number of majors split between Norfair and the wreck ship, to kind of entice runners to go up, or at least to make them think about going up more. Because if there was only 3 majors in the wreck ship, but there was an extra one in Upper Norfair, I don't think that very much route divergence would be happening. So Drake is going to go ahead and get into the spiky room of death, and did not take a save, but makes it through on the way in without taking any damage. So very nicely done. Jargle is going to set up for a Kraid quick kill. So it looks like lines up towards the edge and goes into morph form. This is to mitigate some of the lag that's produced when Kraid's throwing rocks and having a tantrum popping up through the floor. And has charge and plasma. And a grapple beam at the wreck ship reserve. Wreck ship E-tank, excuse me. So that's going to give Drake the option to check X-ray that neither of our runners have in logic yet. They could do some bomb jumps to get up there, but I don't think they really have the requisite E-tanks or suits to get up there yet, as far as the logic goes. But Drake is going to go ahead and make it out of the water, and Jargle has finished off Kraid after a little bit of dancing. And there's nothing wrong with a little dancing. There is a phrase, dance like nobody's watching, and I think that Kraid really takes that to heart. Because generally we don't even let Kraid do that. All right, so just an E-tank behind Kraid, if I remember right, for Jargle. One more item as a reward for killing Kraid, which is going to be at the Kraid E-Tank after this room. As Drake using some any percent strats up in the attic. And pretty nicely executed. And takes care of the people in the attic. Oh, I didn't see. Looks like, was that a speed booster at the Kraid item? All right, so Drake is going to head into the wrecked ship reserve upper area just to check out what's there to see if he needs to use the bomb utility in dash to get that item. Speed's a nice pickup though. That's going to make Jargle go nice and fast. However, on the downside for Jargle though, we know that those high jump boots are up in. Ooh, that's a wave beam. So I'm gonna guess we'll see Drake pick that up, just for some added utility and damage. But with those high jump boots up in the wrecked ship, even if Jargle finds various suit, when speaking of a suit, finds gravity at high jump boots, unless Jargle can high jump with lava dive, which now Jargle could potentially do a gravity jump. So this conversation is fairly negated, but would have needed a way to get help in through the lava dive portion. So Uncle Iroh, the bombs and Spazer have some increased utility for accessing certain locations. So bombs actually grant access to the wrecked ship reserve, whereas Spazer gives access to waterway. So those are just a couple of different changes in the dash logic to kind of make you have less time where you can be kind of pigeonholed into a specific direction. Kind of helps open up things a little bit. And it looks like after finding that gravity suit, even with the reduced heat damage, it looks like Jargle is going to head into Meridia and see what's going on in there. So conserving some energy by not doing any heck runs, though there is some decreased heat room damage just by having gravity. But Jargle just not willing to put in the time to committing to different refills and stuff like that you have to do during your hell runs, which do cost a little bit of time. So Jargle does have bombs to IBJ up to the Mama Turtle item if there's anything good there. And also has speed booster, so you can just do a Shine Spark here. It looks like that's what Jargle is also remembering. So going to get a little bit of a running start to just Shine Spark and jump up to the item in the Mama Turtle room. And here we're going to see Drake wall jump up to the top to lay some bombs. And there's a screw attack at Mama Turtle. Now Drake laid a power bomb, but has bombs. So there we go. So it looks like it is specific to using an actual bomb to get that to open. But Drake lays the bomb. It's going to pick up that wave beam, have a little bit of extra damage and utility. Drake also just a X-ray scope away from being able to microwave Botwound and Dragon. If we come across that item, we'll see if Drake picks it up for that kind of utility. Though some runners, it messes up their item selection, kind of makes them just stop running. Oh wow! So we had Wave Beam, High Jump Boots, and now Varia Suit in the wrecked ship. So the meme route paying off pretty big, especially considering they're, Drake's gonna stumble across Gravity Suit pretty easily. So Drake is looking really, really good right now with Charge Wave and Plasma. Already has 15 power bombs, so doesn't even have to worry about Metroid drops as far as not having ice. Is going to get speed after finishing Kraid. So we're going to have... We are in Drake. We know Drake is getting close to go mode. And I don't see any reason why Drake wouldn't be in go mode after picking up items like Speed Booster and Gravity Suit. And Jargle's doing a little bit of refilling after checking a couple of the minor items in, what is that room called? Coliseum, maybe Aqueduct. I don't remember. I don't remember room names very well. Aqueduct. Thank you, Cheaty. I always get Aqueduct and Coliseum mixed up. Don't really know why. I used to get Amphitheater mixed up with those two, but I've gotten better about that one over the years. So Drake's heading down the red tower. I would venture to guess we'll see a quick X-ray check with that grapple beam. We'll see what that is. I mean, really, best case scenario, Drake doesn't know this, but best case scenarios there would be Ice Beam, space jump to a point just to make things a little bit easier in some spots. But really, with high jump boots and knowing that Drake's pretty easily going to find speed, I mean, those are really your any percent. Like, yeah, if you do old route, you still get space jump, and it does make some things a little easier, but I know that there's probably some runners in here who would tell me, who would be happy to remind me that space jump is not a great item. Amphitheater is the giant room in Lower Norfair where the lava slowly rises, and there's a bunch of gold pirates in there. So they're just an E-tank at the X-ray. Drake, I don't remember if Drake picked that one up or not, to be honest. That's Cathedral? Oh, so I still don't even know the right rooms. So never mind. Don't listen to me. Amphitheater. Oh, I was right. Yeah, Amphitheater is the one with the rising lava. Maybe I said the wrong name when I was trying to describe it. I don't really remember at this point. And Drake's going to go check out this phaser item. Jargle Bargle, of course, able to make it through to Dragon with that speed booster. And still checking miners. Is going to pass on that power bomb pack. And we have a Dragon fight on our hands here. So Jargle is going to set up for that. Looks like he's getting ready to just use some charge shots. Doesn't have wave beam to be able to do any kind of rain dance or whatever the other strategy that like runners like Zeus does that's not the rain dance. But charge plasma is going to be pretty nice. We'll see if they go for any kind of shine strategies, maybe to get a blue suit to have a faster way through some room, that other room. The other room that I can't remember the name of in Meridia. Drake's going to pick up those supers before heading into Kraid. And Jargle making nice use of the utility of Screw Attack, where when you get grabbed by the goop, if you use Screw Attack to remove the goop from you, Dragon will just float up to the ceiling and not continue to try to grab you. So nice heads up play there from Jargle Bargle. And we will see what Dragon has to offer. And it is a reserve tank. And Jargle thought about it, but it has decided to not pick that up. And here we see Drag also going into the Morph Ball to try to mitigate some of the lag here in the Kraid fight. And go and using missile strats on the quick kill for Kraid, possibly to avoid doing something called zombie Kraid, which I don't really know how you do, but my teammate Woody, when I had charge and plasma, said don't make Kraid a zombie, and I said okay, I'll use missiles because I don't know how to do that. So we avoided that problem, but I'm sure somebody would be able to explain how that happens and what happens with that trick. Or it's not really a trick, it's more of an accident, but it's kind of like the old Electronic Arts saying that it's not a bug, it's a feature. So we know that Drake is about to pick up that speed booster, and then it would be extremely unlikely that Drake doesn't go to high jump boots and pick up the gravity suit. I mean, stranger things have certainly happened, but I'm gonna guess that they aren't gonna happen this time. And we'll see what Jargle just continue routing here. Doesn't have grapple or ice, so Shack Tool is off the table unless they want to get real creative. I think you can Crystal Flash into there. Not that I can. I guess I should say I guess some people could Crystal Flash into there. But could at least still check Plasma and Sandpit to see what's going on at those spots. And it looks like is gonna go ahead and make a Sandpit play. While Drake... Now this is a scenario where, because Drake didn't check high jump boots first, maybe they just forget and go through Croc Speedway. That's like one of the only things that I could think of that might happen to cause Drake to miss gravity. But could still, you know, complete Lower Norfair and loop around and find it later anyways. And that's an X-ray scope. Drake is going to pick that up. I did mention that finding that will allow Drake to do X-ray strategies on Botwoon, as well as Dragon, and even some of the Metal Ninja Pirates down in Lower Norfair. But it looks like Drake is not going to do the thing I said that could happen, is going to go ahead and get back to Business Center in Norfair. And I'm sure we'll be seeing Drake head to the Can and High Jump Boots room here pretty soon. Jargle is going to check out this item in the Sandpit, and there's an Ice Beam, so that's a nice utility find for Jargle Bargle. Not exactly what they're looking for at this point, but, you know, ice is a nice thing to get. Gonna have a lot of added utility later in the Metroid rooms to make that part of Turian much faster than if you had to do it with just power bombs, which we very well might see Drake have to do, because it is pretty unlikely now at this point that Drake's going to check many more major items, especially the Sandpit. That one's a little out of the way. So the checks that you might see are most likely at this point to be but what's behind Ridley, the Botwoon one that you kind of have to see, and what's behind Dragon. Maybe Fire Fleas, but probably not. But I doubt that we'll see Drake go out of his way to check the Sandpit and find Ice Beam. But with the power bombs, it's really not going to be that big of a deal. Of course, the downside is that you only get one drop from the Metroid, so you do have to kind of manage your health, make sure that you're not getting too far ahead of yourself and making any mistake in there. And now it looks like Jargle Bargle. So Jargle didn't go to Plasma, and I don't think, and is sparking up. Looks to be getting out, looking to get out of Meridia and go up to the wrecked ship, which is a very good wrecked ship. All 4 items are hits as far as progression goes, having high jump boots, gravity, grapple beam, and wave. Wave isn't progression, I guess, but is a pretty good find still. No tanks, I think, is the big thing. And Drake doing a gravity jump to get through the lava dive area there, and is going to turn gravity suit back on the elevator. Save a little bit of time that way. And Jargle Bargle is looks like going to go up to the wrecked ship, maybe going to check a couple miners. Especially with Screw Attack, taking out these side hoppers pretty quick. And just regular missiles, so Jargle's going to go ahead and pass on those. And I don't think that we will see Drake take a hang-a-Louie here to go to, what is that item called? Screw Attack. Doesn't quite get the short charge though, so it's going to use some of these power bombs to get through the pillar room. I think, Uncle Iroh, what you mean is you like how Magmore has the Lower Norfair music. I think that's what you mean. And Jargle Bartle doesn't have, looks like, did miss any attempt at a CWJ, but with the gravity suit can do a gravity jump out of this water to continue over to the wrecked ship. And just barely misses the down grab, but it looks like he's going to be able to pull that off no problem as Drake makes his way through the amphitheater. Jargle still doing some minor checks and finds regular missiles in the ocean. It's just going to continue on through over to the wrecked ship. Oh, doesn't have high jump boots, which high jump boots without, or sorry, no high jump boots with speed. It does make your movement a little weird. It is kind of, even no matter how many randomizers you play, it's still kind of jarring when you're adjusting to not having high jump boots with speed. So definitely something that we all experience when we play some of these seeds. And gets out of the ocean and is going to head on down. We'll see if Jargle decides to check the spooky missiles. I don't think we saw Drake check those, but with the wreck ship inactivated, doesn't have to worry about taking any damage on the spikes that are in there. But looks like is going to go ahead and skip out on that minor check and is just going to head on down to Fantoon as Drake continues to get closer and closer to Ridley. We'll see if Drake does a little bit of farming before going in there, but with this beam combination and the amount of super missiles that he has, and it looks like, it never hurts to be safe though. I definitely do a lot of farming here. So we are going to have dual boss battles here in a moment. Jargle taking on Fantoon and Ridley being fought by Drake. And while we have these boss battles on screen, if you didn't already, please make sure that you give the runners a follow and support them. And as I mentioned before, if you're not following Cheaty already, make sure you give Cheaty a follow as well. Cheaty doing so much tracking for us, it hurts. So thank you to Cheaty for helping out. And we'll see who finishes off their boss first between Fantoon and Dragon here, or Ridley, excuse me. Ridley doing a little pogos. Ooh, Drake kind of has Ridley turned the wrong direction. Usually you want to get him stuck on that left side, but not the end of the world. Has plenty of supers and energy to be able to mitigate anything like this. As Jargle's, I think that was a little too early, so we're going to see a bit of a tantrum here from Fantoon. But with the screw attack, even with the charge beam, you can just pseudo screw through the flames. So, but with the screw attack, that's really a non-issue at this point. And it looks like Ridley is going down first. We'll see if Drake decides to do the quick item check here. Even an E-tank would be pretty nice for Drake just to get a real quick refill to head out. That's not the kind of E-tank that you want to see though. So I definitely could see a situation where Drake does check the fire fleas now. In hopes of really finding an E-tank. I mean, really, at this point, he's like E-tank ice, which we already know that is, but Drake doesn't. Those are probably the two priority items that Drake might be hoping to find by doing that check. But just charge with plasma and wave does have the ability to take out the three musketeers pretty easily, but things can go wrong quickly in lower Norfair. So if I were in Drake's shoes, I would definitely be checking fire fleas for an E-tank. But we'll see what Drake decides to do. Jargle checks to the left side supers and finds a regular missile pack. It's going to come over to the right side supers where we already know Jargle's going to find high jump boots and is definitely going to pick those up. And there they are. So Drake does need to be a little bit careful here. These key hunters do 50. You know what? I don't know what they do in Varia because I still haven't figured out the ratios on damage protection when you have both Varia and Gravity. I don't know if it's the same as the vanilla game. But there's that E-Tank that I thought Drake might come looking for. So that's going to give Drake a lot of comfort heading out of Lower Norfair. Is really not going to have much issue getting back through and into Upper Norfair, and I doubt that we'll see Drake really checking anything else in Norfair. I'd expect that we're going to see Drake in go mode from this point, but you never know. The comfort of ice can be pretty overwhelming. So some runners, even with the power bombs, they just want to have ice. All right, Jargle is about to pick up Grapple Beam at the wreck ship E-Tank. So we see Drake coming into the Three Musketeers area, and yeah, is just going to try to use the iframes that are provided by Plasma to run through them, but picked up that E-Tank. Doesn't really have much to worry about as far as taking damage there. And it looks like Jargle is actually going to reset on that Grapple Beam, so not interested. Doesn't with speed and high jump actually has all the tools that Jargle needs to check X-ray pretty easily. And has already killed Dragon, so no added utility there. And it looks like Drake is going to do a few more major checks. Like I said, I think the big one is ice at this point, even though Drake has enough power bombs to get through the Metroid room without relying on drops. But the other aspect that I haven't mentioned yet is, of course, Zeb Skip. The only option for Drake right now is to do I believe it's a 3-tap. It might be a stutter 3, but I know it's at least a 3-tap to do a speed Zebetite skip. And it's not an easy trick to do. I've seen very accomplished runners spend a lot of time trying to do that in these races. So Drake does have the ammo to just blast through the Zebs and still be able to take out Mother Brain. I think you just need 16 supers, and then would just need to use the rest on Mother Brain, but I think would be fine on ammo there. Jargle Bargle checking the missiles in the sky, finding power bombs, and also finding another pair of power bombs outside here. And it's going to continue on through. So with seeing Drake check a couple more majors, I mean, there is definitely a world that we could, a parallel universe that could involve Drake heading on down to that sand pit. We'll see what he decides to do with Mama Turtle, but it's definitely going to be checking the bot wound item because you kind of are obligated to see it. But isn't going to go and check Mama Turtle. I still don't think that we'll see a sand pit check. But I was wrong about a few of those other checks, so we'll just have to really wait and see what Drake decides to do. And it looks like Jargle opting to not grab the item. I don't know. I didn't see if Jargle even checked it, so I'm not sure if Jargle knows that Wave is there. But after picking up Varia, is probably just like, oh goody, that's the thing I was looking for mostly anyways. And is going to head out of the wrecked ship and go back down the Red Tower to head back into Norfair, which Jargle didn't really spend much time in Norfair anyways, so... I mean, both runners at this point in the match only have one boss left. Unfortunately for Jargle, that boss is at basically the other end of the map, so it's going to have quite the traverse to get to the final boss, whereas Drake's more kind of centralized in Planet Zebes at this moment. So Drake is obviously at the advantage at this point in the race as far as being able to finish the game at a faster time. Oh, and we got a little bit of a bile plume check on Jargle's side. And Drake is was trying to farm a super, but I guess looks like decided, you know what, I'll just open this door with 3 shots instead of 1. Of course, having the microwave combination is going to be able to make pretty quick work of Dragon, not going to need to rely on supers at all here. So we'll see Drake maybe take a couple practice speed booster. If you 2-tap right in this room, you can get a Shine Spark, and it looks like he's even trying to get a Spike Suit, but is gonna go ahead and kneel here and get ready to shoot Dragon. The kneeling, when you're spamming the X-ray and it's damaging Dragon, you'll see Samus stand. As soon as you see Samus stand, that indicates that Dragon is dead, and you can stop spamming the X-ray. So if you were ever wondering why you'll see people kneel when they go to do microwave, it's so they have a visual indicator that the boss is dead and that they can stop manipulating the iframes. But Drake has all the bosses down at 45 minutes and is going to be making a run to Turian. I would imagine with the current ammo count, we'll probably grab a refill at the ship and possibly a save. I think that taking us 7 seconds to save or whatever it is a pretty good call, especially at this point in the race when you have no idea where your opponent is. And yeah, ice was checked. I don't remember ice being anything. Oh, it was X-ray, if I remember right. I think it was X-ray. Thank you, Cheaty. All right, Jargle Bargle doing a little bit of refilling before getting ready to head down into Lower Norfair. And having not done that wave location check, doesn't have access to space jump. Not really the end of the world with high jump boots, but there are a few places where you could use space jump to your advantage down here. But unfortunately for Jargle, chances are not gonna be finding that item today. And Drake does pick up the 1 super missile needed to get through this last gate. And so now is free to continue on out of the red tower and back up to the surface as we see synchronized elevator usage on stream here. Synchronized hydration stations, because you gotta use the elevator to get your drink of water when you're in the middle of a race or a run. I thought that was just like a rule of what you do at that point. And there we go. Drake is going to go ahead and grab a refill. I think we'll see a save too. Jargle Bargle does have Screw Attack, which is something that Drake did not have when Drake visited Lower Norfair. So with those pillars, it's going to be able to conserve a little bit of ammo, as well as I think have a little bit faster time in there, not waiting on the power bombs and the lag that comes with them, as well as just be able to kind of clear out these pirates pretty easily without having to use a couple of charge shots. And then gets that wall jump with the high jump boots to make it through worst room in the game, and is headed into the amphitheater as we see Drake almost into the Praetorian room. But really, so far, a really nice race from both runners. When it comes down to these randomizers, sometimes there's nothing you can do about the decisions. So you make the decision that you think is best at the time, and it's either wrong or right, but you don't really know until the end. So obviously execution plays a pretty big part in these races and some of this stuff, but just comes down to deciding to go somewhere randomly. I honestly do not know why that room is called Amphitheater. I mean, a lot of the names are named, some of the names are named after people because they either they're behemoth and they did like something really cool in that room, or they made a mistake in that room and then everybody decided to name the room after them, because that's generally how you get a room named after you. And then some of the other names were probably just named because they needed to talk about the rooms in a way that weren't just like, hey, that giant room with lava that rises and a bunch of pirates. So, you know, as far as why they went with amphitheater instead of any other interchangeable word, not so sure. But yeah, the Billy Mays room, named because, you know, but wait, there's more. You know, the John Cena bridge, because you can't see it. That kind of stuff. You know, some of the rooms are named after different pop culture stuff or different stuff that is kind of a thing in the room. And so we have Drake, looks like actually damaging down. Doesn't seem to have any intention of pulling off a baby skip here. And go ahead, gets grabbed, turns to the right to save like a few frames. To skip a portion of Samus's slow stand-up animation after getting grabbed by the baby. And at the same time, Jargle headed into the last boss of his side of the race. And that is Ridley, and has quite a few supers, so he's gonna just unload some supers here. And there you go, getting that manipulation shot. So one of the things that I mentioned earlier is you want Dragon or Ridley to be pogoing and facing to the right, or I'm sorry, to the left, so he kind of gets stuck over there, and you can just spam shots. When Ridley starts pogoing and is facing the other way, if you do a spin jump and then shoot at a certain height, you'll actually get Ridley to face the more desirable way. So that's definitely something you'll see the runners do as a small manipulation. Is once Ridley's pogoing, they'll morph ball under, get to the other side, jump and shoot to get Ridley to turn around, so they can do more damage faster on that left side. I mean, amphitheater really. I've lived in Colorado my entire life. It reminds me a ton of Red Rocks Amphitheater. I'm not inclined to think that that's why it was named that, but it makes sense to me from that perspective. Yeah, and Worst Room. I mean, Worst Room is the name that everybody knows it by. In randomizers, it's not necessarily the worst room. I have been known to rebrand it Weenie Hut Jr. when our runners have space jump and screw attack, because it's like super free when you have those items in a randomizer. Of course, you don't have those items in any percent runs, but yeah, that's one of the fun things about doing commentary is just coming up with your own style and all these different things that you're taking a look at. So Drag without the ice beam, it's 24 shots with this beam combination, and there's the catch-up phase. So I don't remember how many more at that point, but it's 24 total. So Drag's making pretty quick work here. Does take a little bit of damage from a couple catch-up shots, so I think is now under the energy requirement for stand-up, which I don't know if Drake was intending to do anyways. But I think at that point did not have the ability to do it if they wanted. And Jargle with that screw attack is going to make quick work of those key hunters, not really going to have to worry about health too much as Jargle makes his way out of lower warfare and back up to the surface to fight Mother Brain. And yeah, Drake's just hanging out, waiting on the cutscene. Jargle accidentally using some supers on those shot blocks there. I mean, there's a couple cacks, especially there's that one cack in Bubble Mountain that Jargle's going to come across to be able to grab one super pretty quick. And those guys usually drop a lot of power bombs, but yeah, this cack up here is going to give Jargle an easy super drop. And yep, gonna go through the Frog Speedway to get back out of to get up to the Norfair elevator, head on up. And on Drake's side of the race, we've got Mother Brain just beating up on that poor baby. Now the explosion remnants of the Metroid fall onto Samus, granting Samus the whatever that beam is, Hyper Beam? I don't remember. I don't know why I forgot that all of a sudden, but yeah. But Drake lining up with that pipe, which is kind of a visual cue that some runners will line up to just be able to kind of do jump angle shots. There's a specific point where you can stand to get 4 shots per jump on Mother Brain 3. But Mother Brain 3 is now taken care of, and we are going to be seeing the worst reaction to an emergency that I've ever seen on behalf of the Space Pirates, as Drake goes to escape the planet before it kerplodes on itself. And Jargle back in Meridia to go ahead and spark up to the top of Red Tower to get back to the surface. Saving the animals. Does Drake save the animals? I don't think Drake saves the animals. I think Drake knows better. But we'll wait and see. Jargle Bargle does make it out of Meridia and heads up the Red Tower elevator back up to the surface. Back into the parlor. Does not save the animals. Good call. And makes it back to the ship. And Drake finishes with an official SRL time, winning the race, 56 minutes and 42 seconds. So good game to Drake. Congratulations on the win, and we'll see if Drake wants to come in for a quick interview while Jargle finishes up the race. Let's see. So Jargle's going to have a little bit of a faster Metroid rooms because that ice beam is going to make that a little bit quicker. Is going to be able to do the ice Zeb skip as well. But I think no, it's the same amount of shots, isn't it? If regardless of if it's wave or ice, I think it's still 24. I thought that they did the same added damage to plasma and charge. But chat, you do your thing if I'm wrong about that. All right, and it looks like we have been joined by the winner of our race today, D-Drag. Congratulations. How did your race go?
I felt pretty good about that. I can't really complain. It gave me powerbomb straight away, which just told me meme route was viable, and meme route turned out to be a really good route for it. So it was, it was good.
Yeah, so is that a strategy that you generally will go with if it gives you power bombs, or is there any other factors that would make you decide not to do meme route?
I mean, generally speaking, outside of this particular league, it's really just what sort of mood I'm in at the time. Sometimes I'll go for it, sometimes I won't. But for the league in particular, I mean, we called ourselves Meme Team 6. If the opportunity's there, you have to go for it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, and you also have to live up to that name because we do have another team that is full of memers.
We've got more than one.
Well, you know what I mean, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to claim the best meme team name, but there's definitely far memeier people on all other teams, and they deserve that crown, to be honest.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, you had really good routing, like meme route, like you said, worked out really well, especially once you found, after all said and done, finding plasma, could go find everything in the wreck ship, which was totally stacked.
Yes.
And then the other items were just like right along the way. So, what was going through your head after you found gravity?
To be honest, I mean, even before I found gravity, when I was like, okay, we're gonna do meme route, we'll check it, and like first item I get in wreck ship was high jump boots, and I'm instantly just like, okay, wreck ship is already a win as far as I'm concerned. We go through then, and then I see the wave beam, and I'm just like, man, I can't. Oh wait, it's dash. I can get in there with bombs. I'm not a huge fan of that because I find it frustrating to do and just throws me off a little bit, but I like wave. I just felt it was worth a pickup, and it's a good chance to show off something which you're not going to see too much, I'd imagine, with that bomb block getting broken. So that being a bomb block is a bombable block. So yeah, and then obviously finding Varia and wreck ship, I was just like, free seat. And then when I got down and found gravity as well, it was just like, okay, let's just rush Ridley. We'll hopefully check down Ridley. If he's got ice, great. If not, we'll start checking for ice. And beat Ridley, checked there, checked fire fleas. And then as I was on my way to Meridia, I saw the time on the clock and I thought to myself, hold on. This is still sub-hourable quite easily, so I was just like, right, no more checks. We've got everything we need to actually get through this. Just got to not be stupid with ammo at Mother Brain, and I like to get reckless, so I did that anyway. And yeah, it worked out really, really good routes. Best movement items you could possibly get, in a really good order to get them. And the charge pickup was fantastic. One thing I want to ask, I've just seen Jargle has it. Where was Ice?
Ice was at Sandpit, so there was a little bit of route divergence. Jargle went down. It did a normal route at the beginning and went down Red Tower first, so actually found gravity and then dipped out of Norfair and went straight into Meridia without doing any hell runs.
Okay.
So I knew at that point it was pretty unlikely that you were going to find ice with your route.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, as soon as you found as soon as I pick up speed, I should say, because there was, before that, I'm like, okay, I'm not confident I'm going to hit a crystal flash clip here. I'm not cross product. So I'm like, I'm going to get me some speed boost from some ice, however, I've got to find it. And then speed booster fell into my lap, and I was just like, landed, we are away. And then obviously picking up gravity just after picking up speed booster, it was just, go out, that's it. We are ready to go. Yeah, it worked out. I mean, did we... Oh, where was Screw Attack as well? Because I can see he's got that.
That was at Mama Turtle.
Oh yeah, I was never going there with the way the items dropped in this season.
No, yeah.
That just wasn't happening, especially with the route I took. It was just too much. But yeah, no, it was a really fun seed, like a really quick seed. It's one of those ones where afterwards you're just like, oh man, I could have done that faster than I did. But I'm also sat here thinking, you know what? I'm happy with a sub-hour. That's a really good time to pick up right now. Especially how out of practice I'm still feeling. Like that seed definitely felt a lot better than the multi-world the other day. Like I really enjoyed the multi-world. I've got no complaints about it. but just like my gameplay, just in general, there's a couple of missed jumps here and there, but you're always going to get that sort of stuff. And, yeah, I felt a lot better about the game today, and the game was very kind to me for that, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely one of those seeds where, as you're finding some items, you're thinking like, okay, all I need left is this. And then you just stumble across all those items anyways. And you're like, I don't even have to try to look for this stuff. This is great.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, especially with me going to wreck ship first, picking up that crap Varia straight away, and then, you're covered. You've got high jump, you've got Varia. You're covered now for basically anywhere you want to go. Plenty of E-tanks at that point as well. We weren't lacking for those in this seed. So, yeah, I can't really fault like what we got in this seed. It was, I can imagine even going down. Obviously, it's not going to be quite as quick as we've just seen, but by no means is this a slow run. He's still going to finish under an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, and, I mean, really, just outside of the routing decisions, Jargle still had a really good race. Did everything very cleanly. That really, besides outside of the just decisions, really did play very well.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, if it hadn't given me those power bombs right at the start, I basically have been on a similar route to him. So it's just a little bit of luck, really, that I have to meme route because of the team name, and meme route really paid off in this one. So
yeah,
I'm not sure it was quite the meme that it's meant to be in this particular seed, but it was really good. So I'm hyped for that, and I'm glad we had a great race. Looking forward to seeing what Jargle's final time is now, because it's looking like a good one.
Yeah.
But, just want to say, before Jargle jumps in for a quick interview as well, thank you to you for commentating. Thank you for Cheesy for tracking. Obviously, thanks to Speed Gaming for hosting us. It's always nice to get a little bit of shine like that. And thanks to all the guys that were watching, and thanks for the GGs too.
Yeah, you're welcome. Of course, I know we always want to make sure that we get a good presentation being hosted on Speed Gaming, so I didn't have any problem with giving you guys some commentary.
Man, still grateful. It's always nice that anybody giving up their time to do a bit of commentary, or as Cheaty seems to be doing at the moment, giving up all of his time to do all of the tracking.
I'm starting to think Cheaty's getting paid. I'm not getting paid, but I'm pretty sure Cheaty's getting paid for all the tracking he's doing.
Man, we might have to have a sit down with Tracy and talk about this, because I don't know nothing about no money either. So, but no, it's he's doing a fantastic job, and Cheaty in many ways is the unsung hero of this league for all the tracking that he's doing right now. So mad love to Cheaty. But yeah. Good finish for Jargle.
Yeah, it was a great time. Jargle finishing up with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 13 seconds. So good game to Jargle Bargle as well. And we'll see if Jargle wants to come in for an interview. And then while we're waiting for an answer on that, Drake, one thing I always like to ask everybody that comes in for an interview is tell us a little bit about what we might catch you doing on your stream. Or if you're not a big streamer, what's another thing that you might be putting out there for people to check out?
Okay, so I do have a podcast, though that is on a slight hiatus at the moment, much like my streaming is at the moment. That is mostly down to I have a baby due imminently. We are already overdue past by more than a week from the due date, so
oh wow,
baby's going to be here very soon. So
dang, yeah.
Everything at the moment is kind of on hold because of that, but generally, on my stream, usually on a Tuesday and Thursday, I'm doing some sort of long play thing. At the moment, it's Crosscode. I mean, whether you check me playing that out or someone else, I strongly recommend checking out Crosscode. It is a very cool game. Obviously, you can catch me in the Rando League Discord. Much like yourself, I'm one of the admins, and we have great fun doing that, keeping us super busy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, sorry, I don't think I said, but the podcast, if anyone is interested, is Your Lives in Gaming. And I'm also always looking for guests to chat about a couple of games with me, so feel free to DM me on Discord about that. But yeah, I mean, I haven't played for a while, but very soon I'm going to have to get back into running vanilla Super Metroid as well, and I'm probably going to be looking to start with some GT Classic, because that is a beautiful category. anybody who's played it knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's just a beautiful category.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, and there's a lot of crossover from stuff you already know from playing the randomizer. So I can definitely see it as a nice entry point into something vanilla.
Yeah, I have played in like the multi-category tournaments and all the other tournaments that have popped up. You know, I did a qualifier for the 100% tournament, but the last time I've actually been, properly going for PBs on any sort of vanilla category was, I think it was like January 2019 when I got my last any percent PB, and haven't touched it since, because Rando is life, and Rando is this addictive, brutal thing that will crush you and love you and hate you all at the same time, and I feel the same way about Rando. So
yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, so it looks like Jargle has said he's not gonna come in for an interview, which is totally fine, and we just want to make sure that we wish Jargle Bargle a good game, and we're just really happy that everything went off the way that it did. You guys put on an incredible race for us, so thank you guys so much for giving us that time. And any final thoughts from you before we sign off here?
No, I mean, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. Come say hello to us. There's plenty of very, very, very nice people around, and follow the commentators and follow the tracker, because Cheaty and Android stepped up and doing us a massive favor with this, and hopefully we'll see them doing more of it.
Yeah, I'm sure that I will be. I mean, I don't want to speak for Cheaty, but I'm sure we'll see him doing more tracking. But I will definitely be trying to jump into commentary every once in a while. But yeah, thank you very much for coming in for an interview. And to echo what Drake said, join the Discord, even if you don't want to participate in any future leagues. We do have a practice channel where people will put in fun seeds every once in a while. And if you're interested in helping with commentary or tracking, to give Cheaty, a couple desperate hours off that he rightfully deserves, you can also reach out to us, and we'll set you up with the roles to be able to volunteer to help out. Of course, huge shout outs to Speed Gaming for giving us the opportunity to be displayed on their platform. We really appreciate that, and to everybody's hard work that goes into setting these things up. And with that, thanks again to the runners. Make sure you give them a follow. Thank you to Cheaty for jumping in. Mad Ewok Herd for getting us set up and getting us going with the restream. We do have another match right now on Speed Gaming 3. That match is between Canadian Al and MM2 NES cartridge. We've got Tracy and Azure on commentary, and that should be a really great match. So make sure you head over there if you're still itching for some Super Metroid. I'm sure we'll see a lot of you over there in that room.
Yeah, a couple of great runners and some really good commentators going on there, so definitely get over and check that out. I'm going to say goodbye and hop over there myself right now. So thank you very much, Android, again, and I will see you all soon.
Yep, I'm going to head that way too. Thank you so much, Drake, for the interview. Again, thanks to everybody who helped get us set up and got us rolling. We will see you guys next mission, which right now is on Speed Gaming 3, so we'll see you over there. Have a great night, everybody.